Hello everyone, this is Neon. Welcome to Impromptu English with Neon, and today I'm here with a very basic topic, which is countable and uncountable nouns. Nouns that we can count perhaps on our fingers, and nouns which cannot be counted, or normally they are not counted. So as I said, this is a extremely basic topic, a grammar lesson. However, not even many people, most people I know make serious errors regarding this. So I went through many resources, many materials, so that I could combine all the relevant details, all the relevant rules of countable and uncountable nouns into a single video. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn something from this. First of all, what are nouns? We all know what nouns are. Nouns are naming words. They name something, right? It can be a name of people. For example, Jack is a name, Andy is a name, Sanjida is a name. And places like Bangladesh, it's also a name, Dhaka, Gulshan. And not even the proper nouns, also places like hospital, supermarket, city, so town, they are also places and they are also nouns. So if there's a sentence like I will go to my village next Monday, so the word village in that sentence, it's a noun. We all know this. What about things? It can be anything, it can be a chair, table, it can be some food, it can be water, juice, anything. And also some concepts, like abstract concepts, like these are things that we cannot touch, see, smell. Like the five senses that we have, they do not apply to this. It's like a sixth sense thing. Like we know that there is such a thing as love or hate or emotions, smartness, intelligence. We have these concepts in our language. And what are they? Are they verbs? Are they adjectives? No, these words, they are also nouns. So concepts are also nouns, as well as things or places and people. Now, nouns are, like, in terms of counting them, there are two types. Obviously, some can be counted and others cannot be counted. So we will mostly be talking about uncountable nouns in today's lecture. So what are countable nouns first? They refer to individual, which means separate, distinct, which means clear, items that can be counted. For example, we can easily count the number of apples, like in a basket. Or if I have 2 apples, if I'm juggling 2 apples, I can count 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, pens, books, chairs, cats. They are countable, right? It's anyone will understand countable nouns. However, what are uncountable nouns? There are actually a lot of criteria, a lot of categories, I should say, of uncountable nouns. I have made a list for you. So let's see. Fluids, like watery things. Water itself, can you count water? I have a video on this, a short video where Atin, who is my little sister and I made a short video on YouTube. You can check it out. I will include it in the links in the description. So you cannot actually count water like 1 water, 2 waters, 3 waters. It's like 1 water bottle, 1 water jug, a mug of water, 2 mugs of water. So you need units to count fluids. The same goes for oil, like 1 container of oil, 1 tank of oil, 2 tanks. The same goes for milk, juice, soup. Like there can be a bowl of soup. We cannot say there are many soups. And we say there are 2 airs, 3 smokes. There is a lot of smoke. There is smoke. So these are uncountable. We cannot count them. So you can think that if we take a microscope and we zoom in on an atom, then we can count the molecules, right? Because you know that oxygen They are normally in O2, also H2, and water is H2O, two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, right? But these are microscopic. But we do not normally talk about atoms and molecules in everyday language. That's why they are normally uncountable. Technically not, you can count the atoms, but usually we do not count them. So I will not explain all of them. You can take a look. Natural phenomena like heat, darkness, we cannot count them. And also salt, sugar. If you have a little bit of salt, still you will have a very difficult time to count it. Like sand, sugar, hair. Do you know how many hairs I have on my head? Like people have like tens of thousands or lakhs of hairs, right? We call them hair follicles. So there's an interesting thing to note here is that when we comb our hair, sometimes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hair follicles come out, and you can say that I lost 3 hairs, but it's normally hair, right? When we are talking about a whole head of hair, we do not put the letter S, the plural marker S, because it is uncountable. Economics is my favorite subject. I am studying a subject called literature. Like these are singular nouns, and these are, even though this word mathematics, it's also a singular uncountable noun. Mathematics is not my favorite subject, so not mathematics are, and it is not countable. We cannot say there are 2 mathematics, 3 mathematics problems, right? So abstract nouns, I already talked about them, like love, hate here, right? So they are nouns, but they are uncountable nouns. We cannot say that she has 2 beauties, right? We do not mean that. Fever, we also consider them as uncountable nouns. Languages, sports like cricket, we do not say I love crickets, he plays footballs, right? We do not say that. So it's written in the singular, it's said in the singular. Also what we do not say or write, there are a lot of woods here, there are some soils. We normally say it in the singular uncountable word, noun, soil, like cotton, it is made of cotton. We do not say it is made, the clothes are made of cottons. We do not say cottons, we say cotton. Furniture also, we do not say furnitures. I saw many people write or say furnitures, but this is wrong. If you know gerunds, these are actually verbs. They look like verbs, but they identify as nouns. Like singing is my hobby. What is my hobby? Singing. So dash is my hobby. Something is my hobby. So here the grammatical form of singing is a noun. So other types of uncountable nouns are, for example, the word work. I have a lot of work to do. You shouldn't say I have many works to do. That is wrong. And also, he gave me many advices. This is also wrong. I have many knowledges. There are many informations. This is wrong. You should say there is much information. Let's go to number 2. So number 1 we had the introduction part, the overview. Now we will go to particular characteristics of countable nouns and uncountable nouns. So countable nouns have singular and plural forms. For example, dog, the basic word dog, cat, dog. So there is a singular word, and there is also a plural form by adding s or es. For example, if it's a tomato, we have to add es, tomatoes, es, tomatoes, tomatoes. Countable nouns in sentences. For example, I have a cat, so we have to use a or one, or sometimes an, like if it's an apple, I have an apple. More than one, if it is more than one, then it's a plural word. There are 3 books, one, or like there are 2 books, 3 books, there is 1 book. But can we say there is 1 advice, there are 2 advices? We should not say that. Okay, let's go to uncountable nouns. As I said, there are no plural forms for uncountable nouns. As I said, information cannot be written or said as informations. Quantifiers for uncountable nouns. For example, some, a lot of, much, little. We can use these words to express the quantity. What is quantity? The amount. Like, is it a lot of? Is it a little? Or are there many more? So these are quantifiers. And for countable nouns, we can simply use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. However, can we say there are 2 informations? No. We can say there is some information, there is a little information, there is a lot of information. And also remember then that we cannot use are. There are a lot of information. That is wrong. We should say there is. It's a singular word. There is a lot of information. Some confusing cases let's talk about these. For example, fish. It can have a singular meaning, like there are 2 fishes on my plate. I saw 2 fishes. Or when I was fishing, I caught 2 fishes. Right? Actually, you do not need to use this. You can simply say I caught 2 fish. I have 3 fish on my plate. You can use that. But if you use the word fishes, F-I-S-H-E-S, it's also correct. Okay. So another example is that hair is usually uncountable. As I said, when I am referring to someone's hair, maybe hair on his or her head, maybe or even hair on his or her body, then it is normally uncountable. However, if you're referring to a single hair follicle, like some hairs fell out when you used a comb to brush your hair, see, in that case you can use hairs. Okay, so do not get confused by this. Normally they are uncountable, but the word hairs can be used as a countable plural noun. However, hair is an exception. For example, you should not say there are a lot of sands or I saw 3 sands. Okay, I saw 3 sugars, 2 sugars. There are 2 fears in me. So don't say it like that. So sugars, even if there are, for example, some grains of sugar, you can use the word grains. Okay, but for hair follicles, it's not mandatory to use follicles. You can simply say or write hairs. So these are just a few exceptions. Another type of confusing case is that not all countable nouns, so not uncountable. Let's start with countable nouns first. Countable nouns, they form plurals. We know this. However, some countable nouns have irregular plural nouns. For example, child. Child is not childs, or ox is not oxes. They are children and oxen. I know you all know this, but I just wanted to point this out, that countable nouns also have some exceptional cases. So what about uncountable nouns? We just said that uncountable nouns are normally singular nouns. For example, sand, sugar. We should not say sands are or sand are. We say sand is, there is a lot of sand. We do not say there are a lot of sands. However, what about clothes? It has the word es in it. Is the word clothes singular? Like there is one clothes. I have one clothes. No. Clothes is actually a plural. Okay, so there are a lot of clothes. What about goods? Goods, this word refers to some resources. Okay, so there are some goods here. It's also in the plural. So in the final part of this lecture, you can see that I have created a table. So you can see the differences as well as the similarities. There are some similarities you can see here. So first, about plural countable nouns. Regarding plural nouns, both singular and plural countable nouns exist. Most countable nouns become plural if s or es is added, such as hats, dogs, tomatoes. However, there are some exceptions like fish and fishes, and hare and hares, right? And children and oxen. Let's go to uncountable nouns. There is no plural uncountable noun. Examples: salt, sand, love. Okay. So there are some exceptions such as goods, customs, clothes, arms, thanks. Okay. So police. So police is actually a plural noun. If you didn't know, we should say the police are coming. Okay. And if we want to quantify them, that there are 2 or 3 police officers, we have to use the word officers, or policemen, policewoman. We have to use those units. Otherwise, the police, it's an uncountable noun. It is not countable. We cannot say there are 2 polices or there are 3 police. So the word police is a plural uncountable noun. So it's an exception. I have given the exceptions here. Now let's go to the quantifiers and also the articles. So we all know that the word a or an, they cannot be used before uncountable nouns. Can we say there is a sand here? No. There is a sand grain, we can say. Can we say I have a hair? No. Normally we mean that our whole head of hair. So a or an, they cannot be used in front of uncountable nouns. However, the can be used. How? You can say the sand, the sugar. Okay, we can say that, it's not a problem. The love that they felt, the fear that the main character had. So fear, it's an uncountable noun, and the word the can be there, as well as for countable nouns like the apple, the jacket, the school. So the can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. So here I have color coded the similarities in blue and the differences in red. This is very important, I think, and for this reason I wanted to make this video. The word all, it can be used for quantifying countable nouns as well as for quantifying uncountable nouns. For example, I had all the love in the world for her, such as that. Or if it's quantifiable in the sense of countable nouns, I can say he ate all the apples. So both for countable and uncountable nouns, the word all can be used. Same as none. None of the you can say none of the fear was felt by him, or you can say none of the bananas were left uneaten. More, you can use for both. Some, any, a lot of, and plenty of, you can use for both. However, you cannot say that there are many police, there is many fear, there is many love. You can say there is much love, there is much hatred. You cannot say there is many hatred. However, if it's quantifiable, countable, you can write there are many tomatoes. You cannot write there are much tomatoes, right? There are few tomatoes, can you say? Yeah, but there are little, there is little. For example, there is little thought, there is little advice, there is little information. You should not write there is few information. And if it is countable, you have to say a number of people. And if it is uncountable, you can say an amount of, for example, juice, water. So a lot of, as I said, can be used for both. However, several, it can only be used to quantify countable nouns. So that's all for the video. In this video I have talked about, and I started with the definition of nouns, and many, I think I have listed all the criteria, all the categories that I could find of uncountable nouns, giving examples from all categories, and also talked about the use of articles, quantifiers in countable and uncountable nouns. So that's it for the video, guys. Hope you learned something and hope you enjoy this, and hope you stay with me on my journey to become more fluent in English.